up, Gemini? Welcome to my channel, The Intuitive Teacup. So happy to have all the gems out there with me today. We are here to do your November tarot spread. Oh my God, it's November. I can't believe it. But yeah, let's have some fun. As always, these are going to be, I almost said general messages, generic messages, whatever. No, these are going to be general messages. And that means not everything I say will resonate with everyone out there. So pretty please only take away messages for your best and highest good that you feel are intended for you and your story. You will know intuitively what those are. If something doesn't fit your circumstance or scenario, you can release it. You don't have to worry about it. It's a message for someone else. That being said, I welcome you guys to come into this with an open heart and an open mind, because sometimes messages will resonate for you later down the line, be it in a few weeks or a few months. If it resonates, take it and run with it, right? Don't question it. Just use it. Use it for self-empowerment, right? That's what this whole thing is about. That is my goal here. So everything else, ooh, bottom of your deck. Hello, King of Cups. I like that. Card of Scorpio, in Scorpio season, no less. Could also be a water sign. Here I am reading the cards already. We're not there yet. Anyway, everything you want to know about this video will be in the description box below. That includes the decks I'm using here today, as well as my social media channels. I am the Intuitive Teacup on Facebook and Instagram. Check that out if you're interested, and if not, that's cool. I'm happy to have you here on YouTube with me. So Gemini, I can tell you're ready to go. I feel your energy. We'll take 2 more cards and we're going to hop in for my Geminis, roughly for the month of November. But energy is free-flowing. There's really no stop or start date. For my Geminis, what do they need to know for November? 1 more card for Gemini. Take 2. You got 2 at the end. All right, cool. Let's hop in, Gemmy Gems. Ooh, all right, cool. So your energy coming into roughly the month of November. Ace of Swords, boom. Enlightenment, a new idea, some sort of innovative idea. It could even be creative. I don't know why that wanted to come out. It can sometimes be a truth, being honest, you know, offering an olive branch to someone too, I just kind of heard. But communication as well. It's air energy, which is your energy, Gemini. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius with that air energy. But aces are new beginnings, and aces always start with us. So this would be you extending something outward, right? It comes from the internal. So let's immediately clarify it. Oh God, this is not a great card. The depiction is really grim. Sorry about that. But the 5 of Cups. So before we get all bent out of shape about that, let's see what the actual message is here. So 5 of Cups, I usually call it, like jokingly, the total eclipse of the heart. It's that something was or is so bad that it's completely obstructing your view to see the good that exists in the world. But what's interesting is I think that has been your story for a long time, Gemini. That's what I just heard. Something where maybe you felt stabbed in the back, you felt like somebody let you down, somebody broke your heart, or a situation, right, disappointed you. It could be at work, it could be a girlfriend, boyfriend, a mother, a father, whatever. There was some sort of emotional loss in your life. This is you snapping out of it. It finally clicks for you that this is no longer my story. Something about this is no longer the story I'm writing. Some of you might be literal writers, writing a book, writing poetry, writing blogs. Something about that is very significant here. This is like, yeah, something about the transition from October into November. Maybe it's like Scorpio season into Sagittarius season, which would make sense. That energy in Sagittarius season, fire, it motivates you. It progresses you forward to take action, to believe new ideas. Again, to write the story that you were meant to write. You're no longer subscribing to these ideas of kind of like, and again, no shade, Gemini, don't take offense to this, kind of like a woe is me type, nothing ever goes right. And I have Gemini in my chart, and I so relate to that idea, especially because I have a lot of water too. So we can be a little bit dramatic, right, Gemini? You can relate to that. But what's so optimistic about this is that I think you finally realize maybe you've been in some sort of emotional state that hasn't been healthy. And that would make sense in Scorpio season, right? All about the water, the feelings, the emotions, and completions of cycles, right? You reach a point where this is no longer the story you want to tell. It's no longer the truth you want to tell about yourself or about your significant other, or do you know what I mean? It's like triumphantly marching forward and marching on from this. And even if we look at this as like your weapon, your sword of truth, it's like you conquered that battle. It's actually very like Wonder Woman or, Hercules. It's very like, It's very empowering energy. I just heard the Nutty Professor. Hercules, Hercules. That's gonna be you, Gemini. That's awesome. That's good energy. We'll pull a clarifier on this. What is this 5 of Cups? Do we need to know anything else about this 5 of Cups? I'm gonna call your video Hercules. What else do we need to know about this 5 of Cups for Gemini? You could have had a difficult situation with a water sign, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. It's specifically a card of Scorpio, but it's water energy. More than anything, it's feeling that emotional loss. But again, it's like the crown is on top. It's like you step into your power. You wear the crown of truth again, if you will. Anything else we need to know about this 5 of Cups? This 5 of Cups. Get a lot come out. Oof, do we want to take that many? The Rider, the Tree, and the Letter. All right. These are really cool cards, so I'll show them to you. Yeah, I for a lot of you, this does feel like a breakup or like the end of some sort of partnership. I just said this to Sagittarius too. For some of you, and I'm to be very clear, not predicting death here. This would have happened in the past. Someone, a family member, a friend, whoever that you lost, that again, like in the 3D, they've passed on, right? Heaven, whatever you believe in. Someone who's no longer with you, and you've literally had to like wade through the waters of sorrow, of emotion. It could be something like finally putting it to rest. And again, how I was saying, the Writer, something about this was presenting as like a pen, like almost like a fountain pen, or like that ink pen that you dip in like the ink well or whatever it's called. Then you have the Letter. So something about this, it's like the night that moves on. And I saw this instantly and thought of putting flowers on a grave. So that's only going to be for some of you, because if it's not that literal death in your family or wherever, it's the idea of putting it to bed, putting it to rest, putting flowers on it so that there can be growth and renewal from the situation. You're headed towards something better, right? Like you've decided to move on from the sorrow and heartbreak. Some of you might be doing some sort of artistic creation that is quite therapeutic. Some of you may be like writing your feelings out in a journal, writing a letter to someone who has already passed on, writing a text, or I don't think it would be an email, but maybe it is, writing in some form of communication, even if it's to an ex or somebody you're sort of severing ways with, like the idea of cutting something off, but maybe in a peaceful way of like, hey, like, you know, you left a significant impact on my life. You know, I'm always going to love you, but like, I know we made the right decision to part ways. It could be something like that. Something about writing here is very important. All right, Gemini. So that's roughly your energy transitioning from October into November and into the early weeks or so. Very interesting. Lot going on here. So let's see the challenge or focus for the month for you. The Page of Swords. Okay, so again, something about writing and communicating here. Pages can sometimes represent children. And if not children, it's that you are honing in on your craft or ability to communicate better, or for knowledge, to understand the situation better. Frequently, this is the card of the student. Swords, again, being of the mind, air signs. It's seeking of knowledge and communication. Can also be the Spy card, too. So if you've decided to move on and release something, your challenge may be to not look back, questioning if you made the right decision. For a lot of you, this is questioning your own decision-making. And again, so it's your challenge, right? So forewarned is forearmed, right? You can kind of go into the month of November, again, like Wonder Woman mode. That's going to be important, to be very strong in your power and firm in your convictions. Is that the term? Underlying energy for that is the Hermit. Aw, that's such a cute depiction of the Hermit. He's, instead of his lantern, he's got his little light. That's so cute. All right, so yeah, some of you, again, it could be a romantic relationship, it could be a familial one, and whether it's a literal death or a metaphoric, death ending of a relationship. Hermit mode is singlehood, right? It's doing it on your own and doing like your own soul searching, essentially, right? Following your internal light, your internal guidance system, your intuition, and being a card of Virgo, doing the analysis, the internal analysis of self, right? Going within. So something about this is like you're going within and yet you're still desiring to seek answers from the outside. Something about that just reminded me of like a prison movie. Like they'll get it for you on the outside. I don't know, Gemini. Maybe you know somebody who is incarcerated. I don't know what that would be. Something about this card though, yeah, again, like the spy card, seeking of information, but it's not done in the most tactful way. It's, again, how I was saying, the childlike. It's a little bit immature. It's not saying what you mean directly. So maybe that's where this struggle comes in. There is an opportunity to make peace with this situation very articulately, very compassionately, very mature, and with great skill and thought, right? Very clear communication with yourself, but also with others. That is like maybe the ideal of how you want to do it. But yeah, there's something about it that when you're alone, you're struggling with. I don't know if it's the right course of action to take. We'll throw one more clarifier on it. I just keep getting the temptation to spy. So maybe that's on an ex, or I don't know if it would be on a family member, if there's like unsettled, like, or unresolved about, I don't know, it could be like the will or the contract of someone who's passed on, or and it could just be a resistance to really go within and seek knowledge from yourself. The idea of it's easier to turn on the TV, it's easier to go on Instagram, it's easier to meet up with friends and go to the bar, rather than actually doing that internal work. That, let's be real, like, it's not always fun. It's sometimes it's challenging to learn about yourself, right? To go internal. That it's challenging, right? Soul searching. Some sort of accomplishment or the finish line, closing out of some sort of cycle, as we said, because, as you know, Ace is the new beginning. Someone who you thought was your soulmate. This is sometimes the card of the soulmate. It's the 1111, you know, the twin flame. And if it's not that, it's some sort of solid foundation that I do want to say, because it's coming up with the Hermit card, it's a solid foundation for yourself. Like something about getting your feet back, like firmly on the ground, establishing roots, feeling solid and steady on your own again. Sometimes this is the card of like marriage and partnership. Oh, okay, so maybe that's why you're spying on someone. It could be that the person that you thought was your soulmate, or just the person you were involved with. It's funny, it's like it's back and forth, Gemini. There's a great duality for you guys, which I love. There's a desire to be very classy and be like, I don't know how else to say it. It's like presenting as the knight, like, I wish you well, and I'm writing you, you know, this letter on a handwritten letter on a scroll in cursive, and, you know, the idea of putting flowers or extending some sort of peace offering. There's this idealized version of it, of making peace with the past. But then there's also this, like, kind of like begrudging, like, that should have been my person, and I can't believe that they chose them over me. And, like, it's a very interesting. And so maybe, right, that's why it's coming up as your challenge. It's to raise your vibration and be the bigger person, to not look back with hostility, with grudges, with jealousy, with bitterness. Like, be happy for other people and the things they've accomplished, as well as your own. Okay, interesting, Gemini. This is saying to me, you are much more comfortable congratulating other people on their successes and accomplishments than turning inward and realizing, like, what a badass you are and all the great things that you've done. You tend to see yourself as lacking. And this is almost getting out of that mentality of that. Again, like, going within, it has to do with spending time with yourself and being really comfortable in that space of being with yourself and just yourself. Something about appreciating all of, like, your skills and talents and the knowledge you've acquired, the skills you have, so that you don't feel like I don't know if it's constantly comparing yourself to others, whether it's people that maybe you do feel like a little bit bitter or jealous of, as well as like your tribe who they, if like you're surrounded by people who it feels like they're accomplishing things, they're doing things, even if you love them and you only have the best intentions for them, there's something about being around that energy. It's still making you feel less than. It's making you feel like you should be stepping up to the plate and accomplishing great things too. All in good time, but yes, right? Maybe it is time for you to step up and cross that finish line and close out some cycles so that whatever this is, this new idea, this innovative idea or invention, you can go after it. Again, something with writing or arts or artistic endeavors, ones can be creativity as well. Interesting. So yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a challenge, spending time with yourself, Gemini. And no shade, again, don't take offense to it. If it resonates, take it and run with it. But something about this is being happy for other people too, particularly an ex or a romantic partner, or even, okay, it could even be a parent that maybe they were not the most stable parent growing up, and you know they're on like their third husband, and you're going to the wedding, and you're like, oh Jesus, mom, like it's that kind of energy. It's like, show up and just be happy for them, Gemini. Like, and if it feels like you're getting the short end of the stick, because clearly you kind of did, something happened where you felt loss or disappointment, or somebody was just cruel to you, right? If it feels like you're getting the short end of the stick, there is victory coming with this. And it's not typically a card of victory, but again, solid foundations and celebrations. Something about this, it's like light is going to be shed on the situation, literally, right? The hermit always carries his lantern, and then this card is just shrouded in yellow. Illumination, some sort of idea or epiphany might come to you that could be really like groundbreaking, even life-changing, right? Interesting. All right, so what is going to be helpful to you this month, or in the month of November? Well, there's that sun, that illumination, seeing things as they truly are. And I will say, moving on from the past. Something about the past has kept you in shadow, literally, right? If you look at this card, the way it's illustrated, it's shadow right here, right? It's like you have to move forward to be immersed in the light. This is also saying spend time outdoors, in nature, right? In the sunlight, doing things that make you happy, being among family, or something about like lighthearted, innocent, youthful energy, hanging out with your friends, right? Playing with your friends, whatever that means. Even if you're an adult, it's like, go out and get dirty, go out and play, go out and, I don't know, rock climbing, go on a hike, whatever that is for you, right? Go out and ride horses. That's going to be helpful to you. And underlying energy is judgment. Interesting. This is an interesting depiction of judgment too. All right, so I think Sagittarius had judgment as well. You might be dealing with a Sag, it's possible. And they are your natural counterpart, your natural seventh. So judgment, it's the second to last card in the Fool's Journey of the Major Arcana, right? So it's major, heavy upheaval and decisions before we close out a cycle. We've been talking about this the whole time, right? So before you get to the world, which is absolute harmony and peace and freedom, celebration of all that you've accomplished, you know, on your life path so far, before we reach that point of, oh my God, we've done it. There's one final thing that needs re-examination, and judgment does look to the past. Typically it's the Archangel Gabriel, he blows his horn and it rises the dead, right? And it's essentially saying, what do you need to wrap up before we move on from this? Because with the world, it's like she's vulnerable. She's naked. She has nothing on her. She has no baggage. She has clarity, right? There's no emotional baggage. There's no mental baggage. And for you, there might still be, right? Both these cards were sort of indicating that there's a hesitation or a difficulty, at least, in moving on from something. This is saying, what do you need to close out? What needs to be closed out in a healthy way so that you can enjoy life, so that you can move on, so that you can embrace this new life and these new abundances that await you, right? And for those who aren't looking to maybe like completely end a relationship, if you're looking just to establish peace and harmony again, that's fine. But this is saying, like, how do we go back and do that so that we can make peace with the past? I said the same thing to Sagittarius. For some of you, there's something about, I think identity crisis is too harsh a word, but it's almost like without this person at one point in time, you went through some sort of experience of, I don't know who I am without this person. It's like they've always been my best friend, they've always been my boyfriend, they've always been my grandmother, my confidant, the goose to my maverick, right? There's something about this where you just felt lost without them. And so while again, this duality, there's a part of you that wants to set them free and wish them well and be like, I forgive you, I still love you, but do your thing. There's also a part of you that it's like you really want to force the puzzle pieces together to make it work, because there is a part of you that thinks it still can. And to be clear, I'm not saying it can't. That puzzle piece dynamic of, I know this is a good fit if you could only see it that way. It is coming out of my mouth like that for a reason, though. But there was something valuable. Okay, there was something valuable about you going into hermit mode, which again, we know might be a challenge for you this month. Being solo, being individual, and learning what it is that truly makes you happy. What makes you celebrate your own life, your family, right? Your children, maybe. There was something valuable in you being alone. And it's almost like, again, the student card, learning the lessons. Once you have that epiphany, that lesson of, oh, I am a badass on my own. I can stand strong on my own 2 feet. I don't need to rely on this person for emotional fulfillment or whatever that is. That might be the time in which like this judgment stage comes through, where you can actually go back to this situation or this person and make peace with it. Interesting. I want to throw one more clarifier on it, but it actually is quite similar to Sagittarius reading now that I'm really looking at it. So if you have strong Sag in your chart, I would maybe recommend checking that out. So you have the 7 of Pentacles, the assessment card, and the 8 of Pentacles, which Sagittarius had, the apprenticeship card. This is the analysis of the work that needs to be done, or the analysis of where you want to put your efforts and your time, your endeavors. Something about in the physical realm, in the 3D, right? It's not stuck in your thoughts. It's not stuck in your feels and your emotions, right? This is taking forward to build, to move on. With Pentacles, it can be literally your money, right? You could be working on your career, working on your job, working on your home, working on your health. Again, things in the 3D, the physical, things that you can reach out and touch. A lot of you discover joy in some sort of skill or hobby or passion that you toiled with in the past, but it's almost like it got lost in the shuffle. It's like maybe some sort of relationship came into your life or job or situation where I'm just making this up, I don't know, what is something people are into? You're singing, right? You've always wanted to be a singer or an artist of some kind. That got put on the back burner because you were so focused on this person. And it was, I do sort of want to say, a dynamic that was codependent. Your own dreams or passions or talent got put on the back burner. But again, once you kind of went in this individual mode away from whatever that was, cut something out, or maybe someone cut you out, right? Vice versa. You've had time to be on your own and really go into your thoughts and rediscover some sort of passion that you actually want to extend more work towards. You want to put in the hours and the effort. And yeah, something about it before, you didn't think it was worth your time. You saw it as like just a silly pastime. It was something you never really took seriously, even though you enjoyed. This judgment is not only a judgment of the past, of maybe, again, releasing what doesn't serve us, the idea of the death card, Scorpio, right? Judgment is a card of Scorpio as well. Releasing what doesn't serve us, but also embracing more of what does bring us joy and happiness. And I do want to say it's some sort of like tangible skill, something you do with your hands, something potentially artistic. Writing, as we were saying, poetry, singing, whatever it is for you, Gemini. It does feel kind of creative. Or it could be throwing yourself into work where it's like your skills speak for themselves and it's like there's bomb-ass money to be made there. Like there's a lot of potential here for like income to be very good. That's what's helpful to you. So focus on your skills and talent, because it's either going to bring you great joy or money or both, right? We like those. We like those a lot. So what is your advice or guidance? Temperance. All right. Well, there's Sagittarius, the Archangel Michael, the angel of love. He passes the cup back and forth. Cups being our love, our emotion. It's a card of healing, right? And the cup floweth or runneth over, but it's back and forth. So again, it's self-focused. It's healing after death, right? Card number 13, death, goes into 14, which is temperance. Yeah, so again, a lot of what we've been saying. The healing back and forth. He keeps one foot on the land, so it's like your thoughts and ideas, your body, you're still rooted in the ground, keeping your head and your thoughts like based in reality and in the tangible, but also one foot in the pool of intuition and also creativity. Water can be creativity. This is healing yourself. It's like taking a mental health day at minimum, but yeah, being good to yourself. And again, recognizing like, you are worthy. You have already accomplished so much, Gemini. And it's like, as I was saying, it's like something about this is you're very quick to be like, oh, you know, to your best friend, like, you just crushed it. I'm so proud of you, blah, blah, blah. But when it's vice versa and someone's like showering you with compliments, it almost makes you uncomfortable. It's like you want to wiggle out of it. Something about this is like, yeah, like I kind of am awesome, aren't I? Look at all that I've done. And there's that sun in the background. That joy, that happiness. It comes the more you heal yourself. The more inner work and healing you do, this is obvious, right? But the more inner work and healing you do, there's more sun, there's more joy ahead. It brings more enlightenment. It brings more clarity. That's what this could be. All right, so underlying energy for this, I almost said the Sagittarius card, Temperance. The Knight of Cups, yeah, more love energy, and the Page of Cups. So lots of water energy. So this uncomfortable energy of emotional heartbreak and disappointment, you do bridge the gap. Knight of Cups is a card of Pisces, sometimes Cancer or Scorpio as well. And then the Page of Cups, as we were saying with the Page of Swords, it's the student of knowledge, it's the student of information, it's learning, it's again, spying, seeking the truth, seeking the information. Same with the Page, it's understanding the emotion, it's getting comfortable. You guys are gonna cringe with loving yourself. It's moving towards love. And that's what Temperance is. It's the angel of love, but there's self-love here. I'm getting all these dirty metaphors about like masturbation. I don't know why. I just heard the song I Touch Myself by the Divinals. Maybe that means something to someone. Or, hey, if you're in hermit mode, I get it, Gemini. Maybe there's some of what's that's going on here. I'm just going to leave it at that. Anyway, do we need to know? I feel like I shortchanged you on this section. What else do we need to know about this? I just started getting all these songs in my head. And whew. All right, so Temperance. Underlying energy, Knight of Cups. So knights bring change and movement into our life, particularly in the arena of emotions and love. For those that resonate, you could be reconnecting with a parent or a child, depending on who you are in that relationship, with a page and a knight. Or a sibling dynamic, like brother and sister, brother and brother, whoever. And no longer afraid to hide your emotions. Being vulnerable is what's coming through here, because you have no reason not to be. You've done the healing to the point where, again, you're strong. How we were saying, like Wonder Woman, it's very empowering energy. You reach a point where I think you've done so much internal work and healing that you're not as shy to step up to the plate and like fight for your truth. And interestingly enough, it's coming off as like your emotional truth to move towards who or what you love, right? I mean, we know there's communication with someone you love, right? Whether that's someone who's passed on and is in the spirit realm, whether that's saying goodbye to a romantic partner that you just couldn't be with, or opening the door for a reunion, right? You had judgment for someone you love, whether it's a family member or a lover or something. There's movement towards love here. And as we said, the bottom of your deck is the King of Cups. Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, these are all water sign energy, heavy water sign energy here. So maybe you have that in your chart, or maybe there are people in your life that mean a significant amount to you that have very heavy water in their chart. I want to pull one more of these just to see what comes up, and then we'll wrap it up. Oh, good Lord, Gemini. Sorry, your video has been long. Loving yourself first is going to like attract others. Higher vibration, like the King of Cups, the King of Love, That's who you want to be going after, not somebody who makes you feel like this, right? The moon. You guys, Sagittarius had this too. I can't explain enough. I think you guys should check out that video because there's probably some mirroring. Maybe your twin flame was a Sagittarius, right? You did have the twin flame card come up and a lot of Saggy similarities. So for this, and interestingly enough, you have the moon and the sun. So the idea of cycles, changing of cycles, the dawning of a new day. With Judgment, again, wrapping up things that need one more analysis, that need one more pass by. So you can either be like, wrapping up in a cute little bow and send it off, I'm done. Just like these presents, right? It's like, I'm done, they're yours, you can keep that baggage, I've released it, I don't need it. Or the opposite, like, hey, this is something that's been eating away at me, at my thoughts, it's been bothering me, I've had this resentment and jealousy, like, I need to have the conversation and speak my truth. Say what I've always needed to say. Judgment comes around, right? It allows us to release it. Where'd my moon card go? And then it's like the changing of the cycle. And with the moon, following your intuition, again, Cancerian energy, you had a lot of water energy. Listening to your intuition, your inner emotional guidance system, that is what's going to guide you as you progress forward on this journey, on this life path, right? You had a couple cards of knights, did you not? This is kind of a knight. Things that bring change and movement, right? Emotional change and movement towards love, right? Towards expressing your inner truth. Do we need to know anything else about this moon card? You might be traveling. I don't know where you would be traveling to, but that's sort of what I got there. Potentially traveling towards a Leo. Card number 8 is strength, and then the sun is also a card of Leo. You may have strong Leo in your chart, or I don't know, maybe you're moving towards love with a Leo potentially, right? All right, Gemini, that's what I got for you. Please do like, share, subscribe. Leaving a comment really, really helps this channel, even if it's just like, cool, thanks, thumbs up, whatever. Leaving a comment is awesome. I would appreciate that. Otherwise, I will see you beautiful Geminis for more tarot readings. Bye, guys.